You can't wheel into camp with 3 goalies, can you?
It's happened.
It's not. And how has it ended most of those times?
We carry 3 for a while.
Listen, I mean, when you have someone like Rhett Boomer,
you
can't just put him on waivers.
Retro Bureau, Yoni Ortio.
You can't have somebody like Yoni Ortio.
Who was
just
the guy?
Cast him adrift because the league is just salivating.
There was a French goalie on the island. It was the same thing. He ended up clearing waivers there, and 3 goalies for like a month. My thought is the cap's tight. No one's going to give you anything for a Vladar a month into the season because everyone's capped out, or they're not going to get to the cap because they're not competing. Like, I feel like this has to be a front burner type thing. If Wolf shows up and he's your best goalie and there's 3 of them, what do you do? Right?
If
like, this is the problem I don't want to see this team get into.
I think more to your point, if you're moving Vladar, is it a draft day type of a thing?
I think you do it sooner.
While teams are getting their salary cap thing figured out.
Which team is looking for a platoon goalie, a 1B, a young guy that's got some upside? Don't let this be Wolf made the team. It's October 25th. Who wants a goalie? Everyone has to at that point.
Put Wolf in the minors.
Oh,
too bad for you, Wolfie.
Hey, you were the best in camp, but
you
know what I mean? Like,
you know what?
Going to be good.
That'd be a fine problem to have.
Trademark.
Quite frankly.
There's how many years left at 6 million a year?
How many goalies do we need to have for one of them to be good in camp? That would be what.
If you get 3, I like your chances of one being hot. The problem is I also like your chances of losing one of them for close to nothing. Whereas maybe if you're more proactive, you can get something for one of the guys.
The GM is
Trade Markstrom.
Trade Markstrom.
I'm worried about Wolf.
You're allowed to be.
I'm worried about Wolf.
Yeah.
I'm worried that
there's a lot of hype there, right?
There's a lot of hype, and you need to prove. It's weird. The Sabres got that Levi kid.
Yep. Similar story.
Similar story. Blah, blah. They're hanging all their hopes on him. And if it turns out, it's awesome. But the guys I talked to, the alumni guys, they're like, he's a small goalie.
There's not many. So there's always going to be that knock until you prove it.
Yeah.
It was the same thing with Saros. Like, until you put up numbers, there's going to be doubters. And there's no guarantee that he is going to be great at the next level. We just talked about how nuts goaltenders are. But we also heard he was going to be too small for junior and too small for the American League. And he's been goalie of the year 4 years in a row. I think he certainly should have the chance to come in and earn an NHL job if he's one of the best 2 goalies in camp. And I like his odds of doing that.
Trade Vladar.
Oh, it's trade
Vladar. Trade Vladar.
Trade one of your stupid goalies.
I don't know who's got room for a $6 million goalie for the next 3 years coming off the season.
Buffalo does.
Do they need a Markstrom?
It's the same situation as here. Why not? If you're going to have Levi and it's Wolf and Markstrom or Levi and Markstrom, what's the hell's the difference? And they got all kinds of cap space.
I would think they'd be in Vladar would be more what I'm suggesting.
That's the other thing too. Do you have the need for a goalie? Do you have the space? And do you view Vladar as a guy who would be an upgrade on what you already have?
The problem with them taking Markstrom is they've got like 3 or 4 other guys that have been kicking around that organization.
Vladar feels a little bit to me like
unproven.
We've got our flame goggles on. It's like, oh, he's very good. He's good. Whereas around the league, well, he's the backup that had an under 900 save percentage. What are we talking about?
Yeah, but I also look at what happened with Samsonov and trying to think of the other example.
There's plenty both ways, though, right?
Yeah, and so I don't think anyone's saying we're going to get our next number 1. What they're saying is let's take a flyer on a huge toolsy goaltender that's just arriving in the NHL.
Right. Or
so you're not going to.
Why do we need?
They gave up a 3rd rounder for him 2 years ago. I think you could get a 3rd or better right now. The 2nd rounder for him doesn't sound crazy.
Doesn't sound crazy, but again, it's which team?
Yeah,
you need all of those to kind of fall into place.